it's Nicole Moore here, love coach extraordinaire, doing a video on my phone today. Should have brushed the hair, but oh well, it is what it is. So I wanted to make a video because I was at the nail place, and as you do when you're at the nail place, you peruse the trashy magazines, the celebrity magazines. It's pretty much the only time you'll catch me reading something like that. I'm just gonna share this over to the Love Works Life Facebook group, but if you're here, say hello. So I very rarely just spontaneously go live anymore, but I felt inspired because I saw something at the nail place, which I'm gonna share with you now. Let me just share this into the Love Works Life Facebook group. Share in a group, the Love Works Life, be real, tough love. Okay, so this is a tough love live stream, and as I was saying, it was inspired because I was getting my nails done, and so I was perusing the, trashy celebrity magazines that they have, and I saw this cover. I don't know if you can see it, but I saw this cover. And it says Inside Our 18-Year Love Story. And so, of course, I perked up at that for many reasons, but I always think it's interesting when a couple has a really long love story in Hollywood, because that's typically, we tend to think that Hollywood marriages can't last. So I always love seeing examples that go against people's ideas that love doesn't last. So that caught my eye. And then this man here caught my eye, this sexy man who I know as Charles from Younger. If you watch the TV show Younger, which you should, because it's just like such a cute little show, and I feel like every episode is like just eating a little piece of candy or something. Like, it's good. Hi Jessica from the UK, thank you for sending love. Anyway, so I watch Younger, so I know this guy to be Charles. That's the character he is on Younger, but he's actually an actor named Peter Herman. So I was flipping through the magazine as I'm getting my nails done. You see, by the way, I haven't had my nails done in a long time, so this was like kind of a big deal, and I've been running around in kind of like gym gear. It's why my hair isn't done. But anyway, the point of this is, I was thinking about, that's really an amazing man, not just because he is a handsome guy. Obviously, I mean, if you watch the show Younger, like, he is so freaking hot, right? And I think he's really tall. But when I was reading the article, and I could tell from just the feeling and his vibration that this is a good man, and they've been together for 18 years in Hollywood. And when I was reading about what he was saying about her, like, what struck me was, it's so true. Like, people think that, and what's so true is, people think that like love just happens or it doesn't happen, or it's up to fate or it's up to chance, and it's absolutely not up to chance whatsoever. You can have great love in your life or not, based on how you are showing up. And as the woman, the really cool thing is, you have a high degree of influence over what you attract in your love life, and the level of treatment that you get from a man based on how you are showing up. And why I called the title of this live stream Tough Love was because sometimes in my content, sometimes I'm very much just giving you the message that you can have what you want, because that's true. You can have the relationship that you want. You can have the love that you want. There are no limits whatsoever. If you want an amazing relationship with a top 1% man, that's better than anything you've had before, where he treats you like a queen, and where you're together for a really long time. Like, this couple has been together for 18 years and they have 3 children, 2 are adopted. You can have that. You can have the love that you want, but it requires something of you. And the reason I wanted to bring in some tough love is because I think that a lot of women are simply unwilling to do what it takes to have love in their life. I mean, the honest truth is, most women out there today, I think, would rather complain about their love lives. They would rather feel sorry about themselves in their love life. They would rather feel like a victim in their love life. Like, love is it's just happening to them or not happening to them, and there's nothing that they can do. I think most women would rather play that card. They'd rather play the card of, I have no control. They'd rather play the card of the problem is that it's men, or the problem is dating apps. And it's not true. And why I love finding examples of women who are with amazing men and with them for a long time is because if you can see that it's possible for another woman, then that's an indication that it's possible for you. But the question is, what makes some women attracting an amazing top 1% man, while other women struggle to even get a guy to do basic things for them, like call them back or be faithful or want to commit? Why are some women struggling so hard to get what they want from men, while others have an amazing, committed, handsome man that's wanting to be there and so committed and wanting to give them everything? So if you read this article, it's an old article, but I don't know if you can find it online or not. It's from People magazine, June 24, right? So I guess not that old, but if you read in here, he talks about how when he met her and he felt like this feeling of like, we have a lot of business to do together for a lifetime. And when he proposed to her, he knew he was proposing for life, and they take that really seriously in their relationship. So she's with a man who understands commitment. He already understands it from the get-go. She's not having to convince him. She's not having to force him. So there's certainly an element of choosing the right person, right? You do want to attract the right person in the first place, because it's really hard to have a great relationship if you're with someone who's avoidant or narcissistic or has personality problems, or sometimes, abuse or addiction problems, or somebody who just can't be healthy. So attracting that right person in the first place makes a really big difference, but then it's also how you show up. So what I loved is that he says, Peter Herman, I know him as Charles. In my mind, he's just Charles from Younger. But Peter Herman says about his wife, Mariska Hargitay, he says, every decision Mariska makes is steeped in love. And they pulled that quote out, like it says it here. Every decision Mariska makes is steeped in love. And then when I read that, this is why I got inspired to do this live stream, because I thought hello, this is it. And I wonder if people reading this would even get that or even see it the way that I see it. Here's the way I see it. On my Get and Keep Your Man calls, it used to be called Get and Keep Your Man. Now it's called True Love Academy. But on the live version of the calls, we always end every single call with a mantra. There's something that I say at the end of each call, and it's kind of like an invocation for us to say, we are love. How we choose to show up in the world is love. If you listen to my podcast, if you listen to the beginning of the podcast, it's the Love Works podcast, that the whole beginning is really a declaration of who we choose to be as women in love. We are the love leaders. We are the women who believe in love. We are the women who show up in love. We're the women who speak with love. And what this man is basically saying, this very hot, very successful, family-oriented, very committed, top 1% man who he happens to be a celebrity, but I mean, he's just a normal man, right? Before he was a celebrity, he's just a normal man. I never heard of him until, I think he did guest spots and stuff, but I never heard of him until he did the show Younger. But what he represents is, top 1% man. And to have that kind of man in your life, you do have to show up differently. You do have to show up with love, because these kinds of men are rare. So what a top 1% man is to me is a man who first and foremost is really in integrity, really has a good, amazing heart, really caring. You can trust this person. They are centered within themselves. They are right within themselves. It's not that they never have any challenges, but a top 1% man, he's not going to be in a ton of fear. The unavailable guys are the ones in a ton of fear. The guys who can't commit are in a ton of fear. The guys who don't treat you well, they're in a ton of fear. A top 1% man he's a man. He's done the journey of facing the fears and whatever within, so he can fully make himself available for love. You see, it's like, if you're with a man who's afraid of commitment, sometimes the way you show up can definitely steer him towards more commitment for sure. That does happen. That can happen. Most women, though, don't even know how to make that happen. They don't know how to communicate in the right way. They don't know how to show up in the right way to make it happen. But it is possible sometimes that by the way you show up, it inspires more commitment from a man who's not wanting to commit. That's possible sometimes. But there's also the men out there that are ready right now. And if you are single, then why not set your sights and set your intention on the men who are ready right now, on the men who have already looked within and faced their fears of relationships and done the inner work in order to be able to be fully present in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, then what you do want to be looking at is, how am I showing up on my side of the street? Because that's the only part you can control, right? How am I showing up on my side of the street, and am I inadvertently doing anything on my side of the street that is causing the relationship to spin into fear or anything like that? But if you're single, focus on attracting a top 1% man. Like, why not? It's kind of like, it's like set your sights higher, basically. Set your sights all the way at the top, because a lot of you have been single for a long time, and it's like, you want what's really great. I mean, you've been waiting for a long time. So a top 1% man has that integrity. He's ready. He is driven about whatever he's doing in the world. He's driven. He's found his mission. He's a man who's arrived. And of course you can meet a guy and he cannot be where he's ultimately going to be in terms of success or career, but he knows where he's going. He's driven. He's making it happen. You know, that's also really great too. But top 1% man does have that drive, does have that sense of purpose and mission. Even if he's driven to be like the best stay-at-home dad in the world, but there's that feeling. He's safe. He is dependable. He is trustable. He's good looking to you. Not every guy is good looking. I mean, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. If you watch the show Younger, I don't know how you could not think that he's good looking. I'm just going to show you he looks hotter on the show, but he's like, I don't know, I think he's in his 50s or something. He's a nice little salt and pepper piece of yumminess, but you know, attractive to you. But if you look at Mariska Hargitay, you know, she's a beautiful woman, but she's not a supermodel. And this is why I wanted to like bring this up, is because so many women, like, they project that a really great guy for them is like, all they focus on is, oh my God, am I going to be attractive enough for him? Like, there's this thing that we do, and I think it comes from middle school. It's like this little girl thing of, oh my God, like we decide that if a guy is hot, that means something about his personality. But then we also, if we do think a guy's really attractive, we automatically then go into the spin about if we're good enough for him or not. And the point I wanted to make with this was, Mariska Hargitay is beautiful, but she's not a supermodel. I think if I were to interview this couple, he would say she's really beautiful, but he wouldn't say that the reason that I'm with her is because of the way she looks. What he's saying in the article is she does every single thing with love. This is a woman who is vibrating at the level of love. He was also talking about how, you know, she makes him laugh and they have a lot of joy and laughter in their relationship. But again, the thing that struck me so much, and that he's calling out, is that she does everything in love. So the tough love for you, what you really want to be thinking about is, if you do want to be in an amazing relationship with a truly amazing man, are you being what's required to be a match for that? So, for example, do you feel worthy of that kind of man in your life? Or are you putting men on a pedestal, deciding that you're not good enough for them, deciding that you have to prove your worth to them, then acting like a total weirdo energetically and pushing them away, and then proving to yourself the story that these kind of men don't want to be with you? Because it's confidence that's attractive. Think about it. If there's a guy out there and he is a really great catch, okay? And he's also confident. You want a guy who's confident in himself, right? Like, you want to be with that guy who knows he's got it going on. Not in the arrogant way, but of course you want a confident man. So there's a guy out there who's single, and he's handsome, and he's driven, and he's successful, and he has a really good heart, and he's family oriented, and he's looking for the woman to spend the rest of his life with. By the way, there are lots of these kinds of men out there. They are more rare, but there are still lots of these kinds of men out there. I mean, for example, when she was single, this guy was out there. You see what I'm saying? When she was single, this guy was out there. Like, your guy is out there. He actually exists. But let's say that that kind of man is out and he's dating. So he's a top 1% man. And he's decided of his own free will that he is ready to find the person that he's going to spend the rest of his life with. Well, you have to think, what is he looking for? If we were to interview that kind of man, what would he say he's looking for in his ideal woman? And again, the ego mind thinks it's all about looks. It's all about looks. It's not all about looks. Of course, like, do everything you can to, be as beautiful as you want to be because it feels good to you, but it's not all about looks. Attraction is not about looks. Attraction is about energy, and ultimately it's about how you're showing up. So you got to think, he's looking for a confident woman. If there really is a top 1% man who knows he's a catch, he's going to be turned off by the energy of insecurity because it's not an energy that he's vibrating at. Like, all people are actually turned off by the energy of insecurity. No one is sitting there like, oh my God, insecurity is so hot. Like, I just want to be with someone who's so insecure, right? Actually, everyone is turned off by insecurity, but some people have a tolerance and they're available for their romantic partner to have insecurity, but a top 1% man doesn't need to really engage in that. So he's looking for a woman who's confident. He's looking for a woman who owns her value. And that's a feeling, that's a vibration, and that's really good news because owning your value does not have to do with how you look or how much money you make or where you're at in your life. You can own your value based on the qualities that are intrinsic to you. You can feel valuable based on what's inside of you and what you know and decide you're bringing to a man. Because if you were to sit down and ask yourself, what am I really bringing to the table? And you didn't stop until you got something, you would feel differently. You would know your value. And, when I was dating, I really did know my value. Well, when I was dating right before I met my husband, Mike, because I had to work to get myself to the place where I knew my value. But I really did know my value. I really felt like if men don't want to be with me, they're stupid. And honestly, you guys, like, if I was single, and I guess he would have to be younger, but now he's a little bit older than me. And like, this kind of guy came up to me at a party and was talking to me. At that point, I wouldn't have been like, I might have had a little bit of like, butterflies or nervousness, but my thought would have been, he doesn't even know the amazingness of the woman that he's talking to, because I knew the qualities that I had on the inside. I knew the level of experience I could bring to a man. I knew the value of just being able to be in my presence. And so if your confidence level is not to the place where if you were talking to a top 1% man, or if he was trying to pursue you, you would feel like, of course this is happening. This is right. Like, of course this is the kind of guy for me. And if you wouldn't feel like you have value to bring to him, if all of your thoughts would be on, how do I prove to him that I'm worthy? That's an indication that you don't feel worthy. You understand? If you're trying to prove your worth to men, that's an indication that you don't feel worthy. Because if you feel it, you don't have to prove it. Like, if you just feel it, it's like, of course I'm worthy of this. It's not even a conversation, right? So be honest with yourself. Where is your level of worth at? Because again, if you're sitting there complaining, being in victim mode that you don't have the love that you want, but you're not doing anything to move yourself into the position where you could have it, then you're just in victim mode. And there's so many things you can actually do in your love life to make yourself feel better and make yourself feel more worthy and make yourself feel more healed and make yourself more available to have the kind of relationship that you want. So if given the choice between complaining about your love life, wallowing in, oh, it sucks and everyone else is getting married and I'm single, or my boyfriend is crap and he's not giving me what I want, and la 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 la, instead of wallowing in that and making your self-identity in that, why not do the work to get a different result? And I think that a lot of the reason why women don't do the work, A, they don't know what work it is to do. B, they don't believe it. They don't believe that if they spend the time and energy shifting on the inside, that they're going to get a different result on the outside. And the reason they don't believe is because they're looking at their love life history and making up the story that nothing works for them. But you have to understand this. Your shitty love life history was created by limiting beliefs. Like, I'm getting distracted because Mira's saying yes to everything you're saying. Yeah, you know. Like, it's kind of, let me try and break it down in a way that makes it simple. The idea that love doesn't work for you, the idea that it cannot happen for you, is predicated on looking at past experience that was created by the parts of you that actually don't work, not the real you. That whole past experience that you're looking at and you're using it to judge that love doesn't work for you, the reason it was that way was because of limiting beliefs, of your inner little girl not being healed, of you feeling insecure around men, of you feeling not good enough. Like, it was all created by fear. So basically what you're saying is not that love doesn't work for you. You're actually saying that my love life doesn't work when it's consumed by fear. My love life doesn't work when it's consumed by insecurity. My love life doesn't work when I don't believe that I can have the kind of man or relationship I want. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. People just globalize it into my love life doesn't work. Women do that. Let me look at my past and let me look at my present and it's shitty. So that must mean that love can never work for me. And that's not true. What's true again is your love life does not work when your mindset is full of shitty beliefs about men and shitty beliefs about yourself and shitty beliefs about dating. Like, for example, if you believe that men don't really want to commit, or they don't really want to commit to you, or you believe that all men at the end of the day are going to leave you. If you have that belief and your past history is full of men leaving you, it doesn't mean that love can't work for you. What it means is that that belief isn't working for you. You see what I'm saying? If you currently feel insecure around hot men, or you're not even attracting great guys in the first place, and you never have really attracted a top 1% man, it doesn't mean it's not possible for you. It means the insecurity in your love life isn't working for you. And people mix the two things together. It's like your love life is hanging out over here, and it's supposed to work, and it can work, and it's meant to work, and you're meant to get everything you want. But if you have insecurity on top of it, and you have limiting beliefs on top of it, and you have your inner little girl all kinds of unhealed, triggered, emotionally reactive, feeling not worthy, fearing love, thinking that love equals pain, all of that stuff. If you have all that stuff on top of your love life, it's not going to work. If you're trying to make love work, but you're coming at your love life from a high degree of fear, it's not going to work. But it was never love that didn't work. And I want you to hear me on this, because love actually does work. When you have love in your mindset, what does love in your mind mean? You know, I prayed for years for love to enter my mind, because in A Course in Miracles it says, love will enter into any mind that's truly willing. So for years, I would ask love to enter my mind because I wanted my thoughts to be filled with love. Because I knew if my thoughts were filled with love, my feelings would be filled with love, and my actions would be filled with love. So what does it mean to have a love-based mind? Do you even know what it means to have a love-based mind? Because if you're trying to get an amazing love life with a fear-based mind, it doesn't work. But it's not love that doesn't work, it's the fear that doesn't work. It's fear that doesn't work. So love-based mind, surprise, surprise, believes in love. You believe in love itself. You believe in the power of love. You believe in the power of love to overcome. When given the choice, you put your faith in love, not fear. Where's your faith? Is it in love or is it in fear? So love mind trusts love, believes in love, looks for evidence of love, looks for how love is working out for you. That's a love-based mind. Love-based mind assumes the best of men, not the worst of men. Assumes the best will happen in your love life, not the worst will happen in your love life. That's a love-based mind. Love-based mind is not judging the men that come your way. Love-based mind is not judging yourself in your love life. Love-based mind isn't judging your love path and saying you are 37 years old and that means you're too old and you did it wrong or whatever. A love-based mind doesn't have all that judgment, doesn't have all that fear. It doesn't have all that doubt. So what you want to get real with yourself is, what's the quality of your mind right now? And by the way, if you have fear, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's you have an ego that needs to be in check. So fear-based mind, to contrast that, fear-based mind does not believe in love. Fear-based mind assumes it's not going to work out. Most people have a negative underlying assumption about their love life. It's really crazy. It's really crazy what people do in their love lives. And it's almost a waste of time. They like, can you imagine, you guys? Can you just imagine this? Can you imagine getting dressed for a date, doing your hair? You know, when I have to do my hair, it takes like so, I don't know about you guys, but it takes so freaking long. I have to sit there, I have to like curl each individual piece with the wand. It takes like 45 minutes if I want to like get my hair done really well. You gotta do your makeup, you gotta pick an outfit, there's the back and forth and the texting and all the emotional buildup of the date. If you're gonna go on a date, there's like the actual time of the date. There's like so much energy that goes into even just one date, which is why, by the way, a lot of women say dating sucks. It's because it sucks their energy because they're not doing it in the right way. But what's silly is doing all of that, getting into relationships even, dating men from a place of fear, from a mind that doesn't believe in love. So like I said, most people have a negative underlying expectation. So they're spending all this time and energy trying to take action when deep down underneath they don't believe it's going to work, so it doesn't work. Because whatever your underlying expectation is, that's what's underneath all your actions. No matter how much action you take, that's the thing that comes true. So what you want to ask yourself is excuse me, what you want to ask yourself is, what is my underlying negative expectation of love? What do I fear will happen? But it's more than that. It's what do I really believe will happen? Like, for example, I was saying that a woman could be dating and dating, but her underlying expectation is that all men are going to leave her. And that's what she keeps creating. A woman could be dating and dating, but her underlying expectation is that, well, men don't really care that much for me and they're not going to really treat me that well. And that's what they get. So if you have a negative underlying expectation, you might as well deal with that. I'm not saying stop dating, but you've got to deal with that because that's determining what you get. It's not the actions that you're taking. That's why you can go on 1,000,001 dates and nothing changes. So there's a way to have a love-based mind where your thoughts are calm, they're loving, they're self-affirming, they're non-judgmental. Like, I have an ego mind. Sometimes my mind goes crazy. But if you were to go inside of my mind on an everyday basis, you're not going to find like all in my love life, especially. My love life is like the best area of my life. It's like the area that gives me the least problems of any other area of my life because I worked on it, right? But it used to be a complete mess. So in the past, my mind would be filled with all these crazy, insecure, anxious thoughts in my love life. Like, I couldn't sleep if a guy didn't text me back. I was always worried about what's going to happen. I was obsessing. I was analyzing. I was thinking about, did I say the right thing on the date? Did I not say the right thing on the date? Are they going to choose me? Are they not going to choose me? Do they really love me? La, la, la. My mind was not at peace in my love life. It was not in love in my love life. I was trying to have a great love life, but my mind was full of fear. So you want to ask yourself that question. What's going on in here? What's going on in my mind? Is it, my sister's texting me, I just got a new client that looks like Penn Badgley. I'm on my phone, so I see the little notifications. I usually go on live stream on my computer. Where's your mind at? And do you have a love-based mind? Have you asked for love to enter your mind? Because as A Course in Miracles says, love will enter into any mind that's truly willing. But the problem in love is this. We trust our fear in love more than we trust love itself. In love, we think fear is protecting us. We actually think that the fear is the thing that's keeping us safe. For instance, you start to like a guy, and then the fear mind says, maybe you should pull back. Maybe you shouldn't really reveal all yourself to this man. Maybe, you start playing games. Maybe he's not going to like you. Maybe you need to figure out exactly in this moment certainty about what's going to happen. And the fear mind starts talking to us, and we think it's protecting us. And it's doing that all day long. So I bet if I were to go into this woman's mind, and I wish I could, maybe at one point, I would love to have like a show where I interview celebrities about their love lives, and get inside their heads, because I think it's just super interesting and people can relate to celebrity stories, which is what I like about it. Like if I tell you, a lot of people are going to know who this couple is, so it creates like a common frame of reference where if I'm like, hey, my client Samantha, it's a lot more interesting when it's a celebrity. So maybe one day. But anyway, if I were to go inside her mind and I were to ask her, how do you think about love? I guarantee it wouldn't be super judgmental thoughts about her husband. I guarantee it wouldn't be super fearful thoughts, because she wouldn't have an amazing 18-year relationship with a great man if she had a lot of fear in her mind. So what I try to do in everything that I teach is actually show you what it really takes to make love work. And I don't think most people are talking about this. And I think most people are still under the illusion that they don't have to really change anything about themselves in order to find love, or they're under the illusion that they have to change the wrong things. Women will delude themselves that if they change their appearance and try and look perfect, that means men are going to want them. I want you to hear me on this. I used to be obsessive about my calorie intake, and I would eat only 1,200 calories a day, which is not that much. I'm 5'9", like it's really not that much. And I wouldn't go over because I was obsessed with being skinny, and I had a super skinny body. And yes, anywhere I went, men would like look at me, and I got like attention, from men. I didn't even have to have boobs, you guys. How was I doing this? I have no cleavage, but I still got all the attention from guys, And I would go on a date, and I would only eat half my dinner. Even if I was super hungry, I would only eat half my dinner because I thought that would be more appealing to a guy. So it's not about your looks. We think we have to change the things on the outside, the things that aren't even who we are, in order to find love, and we ignore what it really takes to find love, which is changing your mind about love, letting go of the fear. And that's just one piece. I've just talked about your mindset, but if you follow me, what I believe and what I teach is that finding really great love is about alignment, meaning when your mind is aligned to love, when your heart is healed, meaning the inner little girl who grew up feeling and thinking a lot of shitty things about herself and about love, and seeing situations that were not love, that were full of fear, and being mistreated and being not chosen and being abandoned and being rejected and being criticized and being neglected, all those things. That little girl has to stop running the show, and the empowered woman inside has to show up. That's your heart piece. And then there's your energy. There's what you're vibrating. There's what you're putting out there. There's when people are around you, especially when men are around you, what are they feeling? Are they feeling like, let me try and, I don't know if I can be dull. Let me try and be dull. So it'd be like, yeah, hey, I'm on this date, and I don't know, I'm glad not to be in the office today. I'm glad it's Friday. Let me have a drink. Like, I'm trying to be like boring to prove a point. Like, there's not a lot of energy there. A lot of people don't show their full energy, or when they're on a date, they don't realize it. They're tight, they're controlled. Their energy is contracted because they're thinking about the right thing to say versus being present in the moment. And so they're not projecting a lot of energy. It's not interesting. They're inadvertently being forgettable. People with great energy are unforgettable. People who just have ho-hum energy are very forgettable. So that'd be one way. But imagine if you're on the date and you're talking about, you know, that like I went, oh my God, like I went to Paris last May and it was just so exciting, and I walked into the coffee shop and I just saw like this row of croissants, and like croissants are my favorite thing in the entire world, and I just remember like biting into that first croissant on my very first day in Paris, and it was so buttery, and they do it so differently in Paris, and I swear like every single cell in my body was just like beaming with happiness because I had, you know, my first croissant in Paris. Now I was kind of thinking about that because I was trying to think of an interesting thing to say, but can you feel energy? There's energy that's attractive, that makes people want to pull forward and pay attention and know more about you. And then there's energy that's tight, controlled, pulled back, shut down, boring, and very forgettable. So when we're in fear, when we're afraid, and by the way, energy doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert. Like I am a very introverted person, but what I've taught myself over the years is how to bring energy up and out when appropriate. I have to do it all the time. If you watch my videos, maybe not, I don't know, this live stream, I'm just kind of like hanging out, but if you watch any of my like live stream series, you will and feel energy. And when you're on a date, you want to bring your energy. It's not about faking. It's about bringing all of who you are to the forefront. When we're afraid, we don't feel we can be who we really are, so we hide, and then people feel not attracted to us. So that's the energy piece. The less fear you have, the less blocks you have, the less afraid of being vulnerable you are, the more safe you feel that the real you is lovable and therefore you can show it, the better energy you will have. So again, the thoughts impact your energy, because if you have a lot of thoughts that say, this guy's better than me, I can't be with the top 1% man, why would they even want me in the first place? No guy's gonna choose me anyway. I'm not good enough, I have to be perfect. The only way to win love is to be perfect. I have to play games, whatever. If you're doing all of that stuff, if you're calculating, if you're analyzing, if you're trying to figure it all out ahead of time, it's gonna impact your energy. It's gonna make men wanna pull away from you rather than pull forward towards you. And we already talked about the heart piece. So, what I want you thinking about and getting real with yourself about is, are you currently wasting your time in your love life? And this is really tough love, because if you think that it's just about the action, like, oh, I'm working on my love life because I'm on a dating app, or even sometimes, oh, I'm working on my love life because I watched a YouTube video on love. It's a waste of time unless you're doing the real work. Unless you're doing what's actually going to move the needle to bring that man to you, to bring that relationship to you, and to get it to become the relationship that you want. The real work is shifting your mind to love. The real work is healing your inner little girl, so she stops messing with your love life. She's not trying to mess with your love life. She's not bad. She's just misinformed, grossly misinformed about what real love is. She's grossly misinformed about how she should actually be treated, and her standards are too low. Your little girl is grossly misinformed about her true worth. She doesn't understand what real love is because nobody taught her properly, and the environment she grew up in did not teach her real love. The environment she grew up in did not teach her to feel worthy. The environment she grew up in did not teach her to feel safe and loved. So you got to understand, until you heal the inner little girl, she is the one running the show. She is, in every single person's love life. Until you heal the inner little girl, That is who is running the show. That is who is attracting or pushing away men. That is who's attracting the wrong men. That's who's making it so that you cannot get what you want in love. It is her. She is not bad. She is misinformed. And your job is to teach her what she deserves. Your job is to teach her how to be in love and how to show up in love. Your job is to teach her how to stop being so emotionally reactive and how to respond. So if you are dating or in a relationship, but you're not working on healing the inner little girl, you're wasting your time, because it will only ever end up in one way. I'm being real with you guys. It will only ever end up in one way. You know how your relationship is going to end? You can, like, I should just put out like a psychic business or something, and I'm just going to like tell people that I can tell how their relationship is going to end, because I can. Tell me what you experienced in childhood with your dad and your mom or your caregivers. Tell me your past relationship history, and I will tell you how your love life is going to go if you don't do anything. It's going to go the way your little girl thinks it will go, her underlying expectation. It's not how a relationship starts that determines whether your inner little girl is healed. Everyone who ends up in a relationship with a guy they really like, of course it starts out great. That's why you're in the relationship, right? It's easy for a relationship to start off great. It's where it moves to, where it devolves into in a lot of cases, where it ends. That's the reflection of your healing. You see, like, this is a story. 18 years is the story of love growing, not love fading. 18 years is a story of love winning, not fear winning. 18 years is a story of people who had to confront anything within them that would stop them from being successful in relationship, or else it would have ended. So what I want you to be real with yourself and give yourself some tough love is, have you actually ever even looked at healing the inner little girl within? And if you were to write down, what does my inner little girl expect to happen in love? What does she see as the limit of what's possible? Like, if she were to tell you what's possible, what would she say? How does she expect to be hurt in love? How does she expect to not be safe in love? What is her opinion of her worthiness? If you were to write all of that down, which I do recommend, you would have a picture of where your relationship will end, or where your love life will go, if you do not heal this. And no one's talking about this. I feel like I shout it from the rooftops all day long that this is the real work you have to do. But no one's talking about this. They're telling you bullshit about things that don't matter, that you have to change in order to find love, to trick you into not doing the inner work, because it's the inner work that actually makes a difference. And you will come to the inner work when you're ready. When you finally realized that nothing will really change in your love life unless you do on the inside. That's when we start to see shifts on the outside. So top 1% men, top 1% love, having amazing, healthy, lasting, sexy, passionate, love is entirely possible for you. You are worthy of it, but you have to feel that way. You can have it, but you have to believe it. You can have it in your life, but you have to show up with love, not with fear. So that's the end of my sermon for today. But I do want to mention True Love Academy. I put a link here if you want to check out True Love Academy, which is where I teach you all of this stuff, and I teach you how to heal. And I was thinking about it yesterday. True Love Academy is a course that's designed to help you get aligned to attracting in the love of your life, but lots of women do it when they're in a relationship already to make that relationship be amazing. But what that program is about is getting you to the place where you can have true love in your life, But what it's really about is healing. I mean, this is a healing course at the end of the day. It's very deep, and I show you how to get your mindset aligned to love, how to believe in love, how to feel worthy of love, how to heal your inner little girl, how to communicate. It's like a very deep and transformational training to make you into the person who can have this, who can have, you know, the 18 years of love and family and a committed man by your side who's willing to stand in front of the whole world and say, I'm committed to her. I mean, this is pretty freaking amazing to be on the cover of People magazine declaring your love story and talking about your 18-year love story and how you built a beautiful life together with 3 incredible kids. Like, it's pretty amazing. And it's possible for you. It's absolutely possible for you. But it's not possible if you stay in fear. It's not possible if you let fear run the show. So if you get nothing else from this live stream, what I really want you to get is that it's not that love doesn't work for you. It's that fear doesn't work. It's not that you can't have the love that you want. It's that you can't if you're afraid it can't happen for you. It's not that you're not worthy of that kind of man, but it's that you can't get it. You can't get that if you don't feel good enough. Love does work for you. It's actually the only thing that works. And even if you've never had a feeling of success at all in your love life, it doesn't mean that you can't have it. It just means that you were introduced to fear way too early. And you never got a chance to really feel how it feels to be really loved. And I get that. I really get that. Trust me. I get that on a very deep level. But I can only say for myself, I had this calling within me that I was going to be the woman who had that amazing love, and I wasn't going to stop until I got it. And what I did that's different than so many women is I went within and I did the work within, and I spent many years, a lot of time, a lot of journaling, a lot of different exercises, a lot of stuff to make it happen. And I did. And so I know it's possible. And I also know most women won't do what I did, and most women won't go to the depths to learn about love like I did. And that's why I created True Love Academy, because I can make it so much easier for you, because it's like I've already been down the path. I've already done it all, so I can tell you exactly what works. So anyway, the link is there if you feel called. And if you are inspired after watching this to declare that you are the woman who will have that top 1% love, then go ahead and type top 1% love in the comments below. And I'm just sending you lots and lots of love, and I hope you know you can have love. So remember, forget the fear and just choose love.